What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Duran Duran, and I wanted to give a shout out to all the folks who've shared Duran Duran. Obviously, a lot of the early phase of that deep dive, or this deep dive, were records and CDs that I had acquired, but eventually Phil provided a lot of the other albums, and then people like Izzy and some others shared either remixes or extended mixes, night mixes. And Phil pointed out to me recently that they released a compilation of extended mixes and remixes called Strange Behaviour 1999. And even though it looks like a couple of the tracks in the folder are ones I've already reacted to, including the night version of Planet Earth, there's also a night mix of Planet Earth in there, and I don't think I've reacted to that, and there's others in the folder I haven't reacted to, so just another way we can extend the Duran Duran deep dive, and there's still some live stuff I haven't reacted to, so ultimately more Duran Duran is good news for me and everyone, so yeah, we're going to hear the night mix of Planet Earth, and I mentioned when I went to the Duran Duran concert in very early January of this year, my first Duran concert. It was fantastic, and maybe my favorite moment of the whole night was when they played Planet Earth. It just sounded great, and the saxophone was fantastic. And indeed, I would mention that when I reacted to the night version, I went back and checked just to see if I was remembering this correctly. The saxophone stood out to me a great deal in that rendering of the tune. And so in the moment, I don't know how the night mix will vary from the night version. But yes, compared to the album track, the saxophone stood to the fore a great deal more on the night version. At least that's how it hit me in the moment. So yes, as I said, this is one of my favorites from Duran's early phase. It grew on me, meaning when I first started doing reactions to Duran, Careless Memories, that one really hit me in a great way, and then a little bit later when I was going through Rio, The Chauffeur hit me in a fantastic way, and so those were the two that I always really keyed back on, or focused on when people would ask which was my favorite from the first era of their career. But this one, along with maybe I'd say Secret October. Like, there's a couple others that they were good when I first heard them, but they've become even more central to my enjoyment of the early phase over time. So yes, ultimately Planet Earth is one of my favorite Duran tunes, especially when looking specifically at their first few albums, and I'm curious to hear how the night mix might vary from the night version. So let's give it a listen. This is the night mix of Planet Earth by Duran Duran, included on the Strange Behaviour compilation 1999. Feels like we're getting some ingredients, but it's yet to be really stirred together. But it's funny, at that concert, they had a very long intro as Simon gave a shout to everyone in the band and the supporting musicians. all the layers very clearly distinguishable. I love the way that line hits. Definitely different from the night version, despite the similarity of remix name. Yeah, a more, maybe not minimal, because eventually we get, all the parts of the studio song, but or the album track. But yeah, introduce more slowly, more piecemeal, a more stripped down version, I guess. Definitely the saxophone is not a prominent player in this one relative to the night version, or at all, at least as I heard. And yeah, ultimately, almost like a soundtrack version, especially the first couple minutes, it really felt like it would be, a montage track in a Duran film, where you can recognize melodically that it is planet Earth, but not, with the full energy of the album track, nor with the shifted atmosphere of the night version. So yeah, a really distinct version as it hit my ear, or a really distinct mix, I should say, just to keep things in their own terminological lane. But yeah, ultimately we do eventually get all the different parts of the track together, and even then it has a slightly different sound than the album version that like cycling helicopter-like effect, which again reminds me of the beginning of Careless Memories, but also like I think people said then, because I was like, wait, is that the bass? What is that? And they're like, no, I think that's or not Simon. I think that's Nick on the keyboards. It's like a keyboard effect, and that was like a very prominent aspect of this. And yes, the progression of the track, it took longer. It was a more stretched out version. I want to say that's like what, like 7 minutes? Oh, like literally almost exactly. I think it's 6:59. Well, that's a bit of coincidence that my guess was that close, but it really was a stretched out version. As I said, that intro reminded me of when they played it at the concert earlier this year when I saw them, because it really, kind of kept you in suspense. Like, you got a sense of what track was coming, but it wasn't until, Simon finished those introductions and then the lights sort of keyed up, and then boom, in comes the main riff. Whereas again, when the main riff comes in here, it's lighter might be the wrong word, but it was less intense. It just had this sort of backing track kind of feel to it. So a really interesting remix, and one that I think again could work in sort of a documentary about Duran as like a backing tune, even as they're shown in maybe interviews or behind the scenes moments, or a narrator's talking about a certain phase of their career. So yeah, definitely an interesting mix. And as I said, I think there's some other mixes in this folder that I have not reacted to, even though again, because I went through, I eventually got that CD version of Rio, where it's like this double disc where it has like some of the demo versions and some of the night versions and so on. There are a number of variants of tracks from their early phase that I have gone through, but certainly not all of them. So I'm looking forward to going through more. Thank you again to all the folks who've shared Duran, but especially Phil, who shared the catalog of theirs with their proper albums that I didn't get. I think Liberty is one of the only ones I was never able to get. And again, there's others who shared some extra material, but I'm very excited to go through the Strange Behaviour compilation, so thank you again to Philip. Let me know what you think of this, and I will see you next time. Peace.